Welcome everybody to our session One for All, Galactic document automation for Microsoft 365, SharePoint, PowerAutomate, Dynamics and beyond. My name is Christian, I'm CEO of Docs42. We have prepared an awesome session for you with a lot of live demos and a lot of educational content, and therefore I'm very happy to be not alone in this session but together with Johannes.
Hello everyone, also glad you joined the session. My name is Johannes, I'm the lead technical evangelist at Docs42, and like Christian said, we've prepared an awesome lot for you today. And first off, what we're going to talk about is a question that you probably already have in mind. What are the challenges when it comes to document automation? And of course, how can you solve them? In the second step, we're going to prove to you that the thing we said in the first part is not just words, but we can also do this in the Microsoft ecosystem. So we're going to do a live demo in SharePoint, in Microsoft 365, in Dynamics 365, and of course, all of this in combination with PowerAutomate. As a third step, we are going to combine what we said in the live demos with cool customer cases of some of our customers. So we have ABB, we also have one of the biggest retailers in Germany that we're going to cover in this. Christian is going to talk about it. And of course there will be something fun too, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's not only fun, but if you happen to go to a supermarket, you better do it like this. Have your face mask ready. And these Docs42 tube scarves are perfectly fit for that. And you can win these. Everybody of you can win one. Stay tuned, at the end of the session we will tell you how to do that. Have fun! Well, to understand the challenges of document creation, document generation on the Microsoft platform, we need to have a look at how is document generation done in real business life, in the companies. Well, in many cases, it's still copy-pasting. It means that documents are created manually where the content is already present in some system, in a SharePoint, in a CRM system, in an ERP system, but it is copy-pasted in the document templates, Word templates in most of cases, and that's of course flexible. It's individual, but it's costly, cumbersome, it's error-prone. Imagine you're doing that. You need to have to copy-paste your offers, your quotes, your contracts, and so on. And you copy-paste it together and you do 20, 30, 40 of these documents a day, every day. This creates a lot of stress to the people, to the business users who are going to do that. And a lot of IT managers never even know how the business departments are creating their documents. Okay, business users tend to help themselves, and there are options on the Microsoft platform like Visual Basic for Application, macros, Office scripts, mail merge, and it is flexible and individual, it stays that, and it is an automation approach, so that it reduces the errors, but it's still in low numbers, and the adaptability is, how to say, catastrophic. Because if you want to maintain a Visual Basic for Application macros, believe me, that's highway to hell. Okay? So from an automation perspective, that's a dead end. And that's why many companies say, okay, we need to have our all-in-one application. We have our big ERP system, and that's doing everything. But, okay, this creates server-side automation, this is 24/7, and it brings along an acceptable performance, but it's not individual anymore. It's not flexible anymore. Business users cannot design these documents. It's IT guys designing these documents, and then it's corporate designed by IT, and this is normally catastrophic. Have you ever seen a visually appealing insurance policy? Okay. So there must be another way, and I want to give you a technical overview of the options you have on the Microsoft platform when it comes to document automation. And first of all, there's the option to stay within Microsoft Office or Microsoft 365, as it's called, quite recently. So you have mail merge, you have Visual Basic for Application macro, Visual Studio Tools for Office Automation. Yes, that's still alive. And then you have new capability Office scripts along with PowerAutomate. And that's all very nice. It's mostly standalone, it's flexible, it's individual, but you cannot do much without coding. Okay? And when you want to have attractive design, when you have to have several data sources, then you have to resort to coding, and then business users are out of play. Okay? When it comes to serious server-side automation, you're still restricted to SQL Server reporting services. Yes, you can do some limited amount of server-side automation with Office scripts together with PowerAutomate, but believe me, that's still basically Visual Basic macros on the server. Okay. When you want to have a server-side automation at many data sources, you can use reporting services. This is the standard tooling integrated with all the Microsoft ERP systems, Business Central and Finance and Operations, for example. But then business users cannot design these reports anymore. Flexibility is gone. Business users, marketing departments cannot design these documents, and that makes it very unflexible. Okay? If you want to combine the advantages of the two approaches, you can resort to Docs42, of course, because Docs42 allows for document template design and data connections on the Office platform, Microsoft 365 platform, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, where business users can do that because a no-code tool, it is very powerful. You can do a very attractive document template design, and it's very intuitive to use, and you can run the document creation on the server. Okay, so you have full server-side automation. You have as many data sources as you like, and that makes it very, very, very powerful, flexible, and individual. Okay, let me give you an overview how this looks in reality. Well, it's essential that you can design document templates in Microsoft Office, in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, because marketing guys can do that, business users can do that. They can use the formatting capabilities they already know. And then they can insert data fields via drag and drop from various data sources. That's very intuitive to do. It's not a complicated thing. Still, they can integrate data from all various sources. Dynamics 365, for example, SharePoint, of course, SAP, web services, XML, databases, whatever you need. And even though you design your templates in Microsoft Office, you can create them with one click to test these templates. And you can trigger this from various systems like SharePoint, Dynamics, Microsoft Teams, of course, even the chatbot, the voice bot, PowerAutomate, of course. This is an example of how you can create documents out of Microsoft Dynamics.
All right, so let's start with the live part of today's session. What we've prepared for you is 3 different demos. So the first one is where we are going to generate dynamically a document based on a list. So you can select which information you need in that document based on different list items in a SharePoint list or library. Of course, both works. We are going to output different document formats. So we will have Word documents, we will have PowerPoint documents, we will also have PDF documents, of course. And then the second scenario, we are going to do an employee contract. You already see this on the left-hand side right here. And based on a new employee we hire, we want to generate a new employee contract. And then of course we're going to focus on the template design. So we'll also have a look into how you can design different templates. In this case, we are going to have a look on how the employee contract template looks like and how you can change it. And then the last part, we are going to combine, like we said, the best of Office 365 with Dynamics 365 and combine an entire quote scenario where we are going to generate an entire quote based on different modules from SharePoint, from Dynamics, and of course, Power Automation. What I'd like to start with first is there is a list in here, and in that list we can select whatever we would like. So we are going to dynamically select 3 items in this case, 3 employees, and then we have different options on how to generate, for example, an employees list as a PDF. We can click on OK. This is going to trigger the Docs42 service, and as we see, we've already generated the employee list right away based on the information that we have already selected. And this document has 3 people, of course. It includes the images of these 3 people. We are also generating bar charts dynamically based on the achievement that person has, and you can also see there's barcodes for 3 items, so 3 people. This would probably still be possible, also probably nerve-wracking if you have to do it frequently manually. But just think about having a couple of hundred people that are in that list, and you need to generate the list once again. So that's why we come in with the automation. And of course, if you need to change, for example, the achievements or also the selections. So let's just switch to it. Let's also do a quick edit here. And in that quick edit, what we'd like to do first is let's change one of the achievements. So we've realized Angela also has a higher achievement. So you trust me that the data is actually live. And if we exit the quick editing, and also let's sort them descending. So we want to have larger to smaller. And in this case, we want to include all of them. We can also click here, click on Docs42 on top, and employee list PDF, same thing again. In this case, it will dynamically send those 4 people to the Docs42 service, generate the list again. And we see Claudius, Angela, Selena, and the doctor. So Claudius, Angela, Selena, and the doctor. And each of them, of course, also here we have Angela already changed in the new folder, in the new order, so that it's correct for the document. Perfect. Next thing that I would like to show you is, of course, sometimes you just don't want only output as a PDF, but in template format, of course, Word, but it might also be interesting to generate PowerPoints. And we can do the same thing that we've already done. Let's just select all of them again. And in here you see another option, which is called Sales Report as a PowerPoint. Let's do that for a second. In this case, we're even integrating data from a different ERP system. So of course, as we've already seen in Christian's part, that the data we integrate into that document cannot be just from one data source. It can be from multiple. And you can combine them at the same time. So in this case, it's the employees from SharePoint, but the ERP data from our ERP system. The output is a PowerPoint. Let's save and open this. And in here we will see that there is, of course, there is a starting slide with all of them, but then there is a repetition, like we've already seen in the list in the PDF document, where slide 2 and 3 get repeated for as many employees as there are in that list. And this is something you configure in our Docs42 template. What I already have included in here is see Claudius Cloud again. Now slide 4, 6, and also 8 just get repeated. Basically the data is just replaced. And in the template setup, it's a very easy thing because you just need to define two slides and the rest will be repeated. This gets even more dynamic when it comes to the charts. So we read the data from the charts and at the same time render those charts in here and then configure them for each of the employees. All right, so much for PowerPoint. Of course, this could also be an output as PDF. You could send it right away, or what we can also do is we can save them to SharePoint. So in this case, let's again do some other people. Or let's include some other people in that presentation and let's save that sales report as a PowerPoint to our SharePoint library. The question we frequently get is if we can also include the metadata in that document, and yes, of course, even not just from SharePoint. So if there's any data in the document that you want to include as metadata in SharePoint, we can absolutely do this. Let's also create the save list as a PDF, so the document we've just seen before. And then let's go to our target library, and in these you will see that if we make newer to older, there are 2 new documents, and both of course are created by my user. So since we do impersonation in there, everything that's happening in SharePoint will always be with the user you're currently logged in, which in terms of security, of course, is a whole new chapter in terms of Azure Active Directory. Great, let's go back to the employee list once again. And you're probably wondering, how can you configure those buttons? And for that, we have a very simple list to do any changes. And if we want, for example, to change this from PDF to docx, the only thing we need to do is, so I've just opened the Docs42 command bar list, same thing you have already seen here. You see to the list name employee list, there are currently 4 buttons existing. The modern employee contract is something we will see in the next scenario. If we go to those employee list and if we just change a couple of small things. So as you can see, the title is the definition of the button. Let's switch this to docx. The rest you don't really need to care about. That's a Docs42 configuration part, which of course is documented if you want to use this. The only thing we want to do today is we want to change the format of our return to docx. So that's for the people of you that also understand technical knowledge in terms of URL parameters. And there is a Galactic employee list, and we want this as a docx. So basically what you see here is the simple change of just these couple of characters already creates a different document. Let's save this, and now let's go back to our employee list, and in this case let's not take Angela for one time. Go to Docs42, you see employee list docx, generate the document again, and we have the Galactic employee list docx. Can save this again, open the document, and again we have 3 people, in this case not Angela. Right. So much for that scenario. One last thing that I would like to show you really quick is if we go back to the target library, you see there has also been an employee list flow. The reason is because in the very beginning, remember when I changed the achievement of, I think it was Angela, we also have a flow running in that scenario. So in case anything gets changed in that list, you will always automatically generate a new employee list from a flow or from PowerAutomate, and in this case it's always going to be all employees. Of course this can also be dynamic, but like we've already said in the beginning, you cannot just generate documents with a button, but you can also generate them with, in this case, PowerAutomate, or if you already have any of the workflow tools that are out on the market, it's very likely that one of our customers already uses that, so the most common are already in projects. And of course if you already use Flow or PowerAutomate, you're good to go with that as well. Great, so let's switch to our next scenario. Let's go to the employee contracts. So in here what I'd like to do is I want to hire a new employee, and I want to click on new. As my office room is called the Shire and I really love Lord of the Rings, I'm going to hire Frodo today. I don't know if this is his email, but it might as well be. Then we are from Austria, so let's include the Austrian pre-dial. Then we will hire Frodo as a trainee. He'll also get a special agreement, and since we know he really likes the ring, he will get a ring for future ruling aspiration. And this is very important, so in the contract of course we want to handle this differently. So let's make it 18 and also bold. Save. Now we have a ring, and we also want to have a salary, and we are going to save this. Great. So you see we have a new employee right there. And in the first scenario we had one document that was generated based on different item levels. In this case we're going to generate different documents per item. So in case we want to generate the employee contracts for all those people in here, let's click on Docs42. There are again some options in here. Let's do a save employee contract, and what this is going to do is it's going to take each item or each employee and generate in an employee contract directly into an all contracts library, which we will see in a second. Then let's go to the all contracts in here. Once again, there are a lot of new contracts for all the people in here. If we go back to the employee contracts, so 2 more scenarios that I'd like to show you is Docs42 can also output emails So if we click on send employee contract in here and click on OK, this will automatically send that document to that person. You see I've just generated that document, and here you also see there is different information included, and all of this already also has the contract, of course. And again, you see an automated document, nicely looking, automated table of contents, automated information in the document. We will see that in the template in a second. Get the ring for future ruling aspiration, so that's also fine. And of course, at the last page, this is a different sub-document, and we include this sub-document and also include the metadata from Frodo into that document. Now, another scenario that I'd like to show you quickly is, let's say you want to change something in that email before you write it, and then you can also open a draft email. That's another configuration we offer, where you can open that document right away, save it as a mail message as you see here, and then it will not be sent by the server automatically, but it will be sent by any of your Outlook accounts that you select, again with the same information, with again the email attached, but here you can type just like anything else like you're used to. Let's just quickly jump into one of the templates that we've just generated, which is the employee contract. And if I go to our Docs42 templates library, this is where we can save all our templates. You see there is, for example, the employee contract in here, which I just want to open briefly. Right, and if I go to, well, that's the Docs42 add-in. So anything that I want to change in a template, you can change directly in here. If you want to insert any of the fields, you can click on Insert Data field on top. There you have all the fields that we already have from our SharePoint list. So for example, a title field as a name. Then there are also conditions in here. For example, this condition is going to include or exclude information from the document. But before I go too deeply into the document, let me just quickly do what a designer usually would do. So you can click on Generate on top. Then you will get a list of the people that already are in there. So there's Frodo. Let's generate the document for Frodo as the one testing. So what I'm currently doing, usually the tester will do. If we view them side by side, well, the table of contents, of course, is automatically changed based on what header ones are in the document. Then we have fields in there. And like I mentioned in the beginning, see if you look at 7 right there, you see that the one free meal is something that the trainee gets. The others are for the sales manager or for the development people. So provided with a laptop, if I double click, this will open Automate Range on top. And you see this will only be included if you're not a trainee, which Frodo is. So he doesn't unfortunately get a laptop. And then we have the ring of future ruling aspirations. If I double click, this will open on the right hand side the fields that we get. And we will see that this is HTML type. And if we scroll down, this entire document is even a Word document. And in here, we can have a look on all the options we get. When it comes to data integration, so number, date, time, images, barcodes, PDFs, PowerPoint documents. And in terms of the data, if you want to connect to any other data, if you go to the data map up here, you see there's already the data sources we have, so SharePoint. So let me just quickly open the candidate list. In this case, we are reading this through Azure Active Directory, but you have both the option to work with Azure Active Directory with username, password. Also in case if you're still with SharePoint on-premise, that's perfectly fine with Windows users and password. Then you can always go ahead and test. And yeah, any of the other data sources, like we're also going to generate the CRM template, that's something you can do directly in here. Like we said, if you want to have a look on PowerPoint, just let us know. Also join the session later, also book your demo. We're perfectly fine to do that demo as well. The last scenario we'd like to show you today is the integration of Dynamics and SharePoint together. And the scenario we have for all of this is a quote sample. So we want to generate a quote. Let's say if a quote gets more complex and that quote will not only include dynamics information and there's going to be different parties involved in generating such a document, like also different people from sales, for example. What we did in here is that there is the option to generate a document, for example, return the PDF quote, and this is going to pull information both from SharePoint as well as information that we already have in Dynamics CRM. Again, same principle. I'm going to download a document. There is a template format again. There's the products only that come from CRM. The question is, where is the rest of that coming from? And what we in this case have is a SharePoint list that our service and also the sales can work on for the entire quote to be done. Now, I could again open the SharePoint, but to make this more Teamsy, let's go to Teams, and as you see, there is a team for sales where we also have the solar panel, so I could also generate or do something in that quote in here again. But the thing I wanted to show you is that in the quote modules right there, there is a folder according to the document, and all of these three are the ones that are in that generated quote. And for example, if I open the sales, the solar presentation in here, I could change it and generate again. The same applies to the service. I'll also change something in there so you trust me that this is actual data. Let's make it 10 hours. Let's close. Now as me, the one that I'm, for example, in the sales unit, I can change any of these. And once I want to regenerate that document, I'll just go here again. I can save it again to SharePoint or Teams, of course. So the same team also has this SharePoint library in that sales team. Let's just return the PDF once again. So you see that the changes that I've just done are in that document. And then I can save it again. And there we are with, for example, the service. Remember that part? I changed it to 10 hours. So also the calculation is changed, and all of this is automatically done and has the same layout as the CRM integration. Perfect. So much for the live demos. If any of this is unclear to you or it already makes you go wild in terms of the scenarios you have in mind, like I said, join the session after. I'm happy to go into this as well and discuss this based on your scenario.
Well, Docs 42 is actually used in all industries. Let's have a short look at some cool examples.
So as you've seen, we've prepared an awesome lot for you today, but some of you probably still have questions, and we're going to start a live meeting right now in Microsoft Teams. So just follow the link and you can ask us directly any questions you have. And in case you are going to join another session now, there will also be a second link where you can book a demo within the next 2 weeks. So it was good having you. Hope to see you in a few seconds. And
yeah, and everybody who joins our live session right now to get his questions answered right now, and everybody who reserves an individual time slot with us during the next 1 or 2 weeks will receive one of these awesome Tubes cards. So,
be there.
Thanks a lot. See you in a bit.
Bye bye.